Welcome in, everybody. This is Mr. Mehead Warrior, and why coming at you? The Bulldog. If you like this type of stuff, please get your horns up, headbang that like button for me, please, to get my channel and get this more out there. Alright, before I start with this, I gotta get some shout outs to a few collectors and streamers that I follow both on here and over on Instagram. I had to write them down because I had a few of them that I keep in my head. Alright. I want to give a big shout out to the Heavy Metal Journal. You can find her on here under the same name and over on Instagram. Awesome collector, does live streams much like I'm doing with the review, with the album reviews, band reviews. Absolutely awesome. Metal Miners Music. Also, you can find them under here under the same name. Awesome collector. Awesome channel. Big shout out. Thanks for the stuff that's coming. I appreciate you. You can find them also over on Instagram under the same name. Next one, my boy, Classy Lonnie Music. Classy Lonnie Metal. You can find them on here and also over on Instagram. Awesome streamer. Awesome collector. I've got stuff from him in the past. Thank you, man. Tune into him. Tune into Heavy Metal Journal and also Metal Miners Music on here, also on Instagram. Also, I gotta give a couple more shout outs. Thrash Metal IQ, awesome streamer, collector. I've gotten stuff from him also. You can find him on here and over on IG. ST Young, Steve Sikora, I'm pretty sure I said your last name right. If not, man, I'm sorry. You can find him on here also, ST Young, and over on Instagram. Also, Metal Ben's Chronicles. You can find him on here, also over on IG. Awesome streamer, collector, does the same thing. The bands and reviews, concerts, also walking around a little bit. I absolutely love his channel. Also, I think there was one more that I wanted to give a shout out to. I think that was it for now. Oh, the Goat Metal Show. The Goat Master. That's where he goes by on here, the Goat Master. You can find him on here also. Another awesome channel. Yeah, talks about metal, reviews the whole 9 yards, goes to different places. Check these guys out. Again, big ups. I will also have their channel in the description and the comment section. If you like this type of stuff, smash that like button. Keep metal strong, keep metal going, keep waving that flag. Alright. I'm gonna get into a band that I think doesn't get enough recognition, is somewhat been under the radar, overlooked over the past probably about 30 some odd years now, since they've been doing this. One of my favorite death metal and grindcore bands in the ever. They have never put out a bad album or a bad record, period. A band called Benediction from the UK, over in Europe. A lot of you guys might know with Benediction, you had a lot of different bands forming off of this one band, especially mid 80s, early 90s. You had Barney from Napalm, Extreme Noise Terror, and I had to write some of this down. I knew I was going to forget. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. ENT, Extreme Noise Terror. I think I just said that. Never mind. My bad. You had a lot of people in these bands, especially Benediction, that went off to form, that went off to make other great bands. Like, you had Justin Broderick go form Godflesh. You had Bill Steer going to Carcass. You had Lee Dorian that went on to form the great doom metal band Cathedral. It's like I said, Benediction's been around for a while. I I've been into them. Um, my my first exposure to them was Transcend the Rubicon. I had to go back a couple. Um, One of my favorite albums by them of all time. Um, it was always called Music to Mingle Your Mind, or Extreme Music for Extreme People. Um, I think one of their best albums. I absolutely love this album. This came out in, oh god, 93, 92, 93. I had to go back like one album, I think, like two albums from them. Um, Always stayed the track, you know, hard hitting death metal, grindcore feel. Um, Love the vocals, but even when I first heard them, it just grabbed me. Um, in my opinion, like I said, didn't put out a bad album at all. Um, they always had that we don't care approach. You know, that take it or leave it approach with their music, which I love. Um, Again, not a bad release by them. Actually, it's like definitely one of my favorite. I, I'm I'm not going in any type of order with their discography at all. Um, this is one band that I feel that hasn't got the recognition that they should. They've been doing this for like their first demo or EP came out '89. Um, it's, incidentally, their first EP um, that came out '89, um, The Dreams You Dread. That was their EP. Later on in '95, they released the album Dreams You Dread in '95. Another one. This by I think this one is like my top favorite by them, if not a close one. Um, but yeah, a lot of people didn't realize that they released a demo under their EP under this name back in '89 or '90, I believe it was, like when they first started coming around. Um, Again, a great album. I think one of the a few of my favorites off this album is um, where, where Flies Are Born. I love that track. It's heavy, you know. Again, it has that grindcore feel to it, which a lot of their albums do. A lot of their tracks do. Um, you might remember in I think it was getting back to Barney. Barney also appeared on the on that on that demo in '89 for Dreams You Dread. Um, he was in it for a minute before he went through Napalm Death, and in between he also dropped I think one record with Extreme Noise Terror, and I think that was '90 if I'm not mistaken. Um, he came back um, in '92 and did one song with them off the Dark and Shadows EP. Or I mean, I'm sorry, Dark is the Season EP. I'm getting confused now. He was vocals on Forged in Fire off this record. Oh, EP. I'm sorry, EP. This one it's one of those hidden gems in my opinion. Um, Great EP, especially with Barney coming back for that one track. Um, like I said, just these guys these guys never put out, you know, anything bad in my opinion. They still have it. With their last release scriptures, still, I think a lot of people, you know, said that was getting away with, you know, from what they normally did. That hard sound. it still has all the elements um, of the grindcore, definitely the death metal, the hard hitting punch in the mouth. You know, um, this came out 2020. This is Scriptures, their latest. Um, this one's the bonus CD comes with the demo versions, the original demo versions of Legion and Grow. It's a 4-song demo CD. Uh, Again, I can't say enough about it. I I I think it's a great album. This one, I was just playing this album the other day, and that's when I started thinking, you know, this band has been around for a while, and nobody's, you know, excuse me, they're always under the radar. That's people, you know, put them out there with anybody. Um, my favorite, my favorite song off this record, in our hands, the, in our hands, the scars. Like one of my favorite tracks off this record. Uh, Embrace the Kill's another one. Uh, Blood at the End, another track. Um, this band never, this band never strayed away from who they were. All right, they never, you know, left anything. They in '91, I think it was '92. They formed like a close um, touring um, relationship with Death. Um, Chuck Chuck Schuldiner, the late great Chuck Schuldiner, rest in peace. Um, would want them to come out and tour with them. And there was a couple times where they switched, where Benediction was either opening or they were the second band up before Death went on. There was times where Chuck said no. You know, we'll go on second. You headline for them, which that says for, you know, a lot for Chuck back then. Um, Death is another band that I will be doing. Looking at their discography, including Control Denied with that. Um, but yeah, Scriptures. It's you know, no one else that's just smack you in the mouth. You know, wake you up. In my opinion. Another one is um, their first one, subconscious terror. And also Grand Leviathan. I had these. Um, I found this. They're on 2-on-1. I had the masters of both, which I think I still have. Subconscious terror over here behind me. Grand Leviathan got stolen from me. It's one of my favorite records when they, you know, when I had to go back. Luckily, I found this. It's Subconscious Terror, Grand on double disc, gold collection. Um, they only made, I think, 2,000 of these, and this is number 325. I was happy and very ecstatic when I found both these albums on one. Subconscious Terror, I like this record. Again, hard, heavy. It had that grind death feeling. Um, I absolutely love the drums and the guitars on this. Extremely hard hitting. The bass is just there, loud in your face. You know, that's one thing with Benediction. They never held back on the bass, and especially the double and the kicks, they never held back on it. And again, going back to Scriptures, the same thing. Again, two of their best. Like I said, I'm not doing this in any type of order. You know, no, you know, 10, 9, 8, 7, no. There's certain bands I will do that with. There's certain bands you have to do that with. Um, Benediction's not one of those bands, in my opinion. I think a lot of stuff they put out um, was great. You know, they smacked you in the mouth. And incidentally, sub, Subconscious Terror was the first and last recording with Barney before he went to Napalm. Like I said, he did come back a couple times to sing on vocals, and Barney is, I think Barney is one of those musicians, especially death metal and grindcore musicians, that gets pulled to do different projects. Um, Besides Benediction, Napalm Death, Extreme Noise Terror, there were so many bands that he um, lent his vocals to, whether it was Cerebral Fix. I think he did one or two records with them. I think one. Um, there were a number of side things that he did. I can't even begin naming them all right now because there's so many of them. But I think Napalm has always been and always will be his baby. Uh, Get on a Napalm for a little bit. First time I saw Napalm was, I think it was Utopia Banished. I think it was the campaign for Musical Destruction tour. I saw that back in, what was it, 92? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 92. That was like one of the first times I saw them, and seeing this guy jumping around stage, you know, grabbing that mic, just being Barney, you know. Whoever's seen Barney live in Napalm knows what I'm talking about. Barney's like a little bunny rabbit going back and forth on the stage. Um, Seen them a bunch of times after. Last time I saw them was 2019, I believe, 2020, on the last Slayer tour when they opened up, you know, for them. And seeing a lot of people that didn't know who they were was shocking to me. Still to this day, they've been doing it for 40 some odd years. You know, seeing that, you know, then you know, people like me who have been into them and knew who they were, you know, and having to tell these people, you guys realize who they are, you know, the grindcore legends, in my opinion, just like, you know, Benediction. Next one I'll go into is their EP. It came out in 90. I think this was 94. This was just before Dreams You Dread. They have this one as the title track, Grotesque, and also Ashen Epitaph, but it does live versions of Violation Domain, Subconscious Terror, Visions in the Shroud, which is a great song. Another one. This this wasn't a bad EP. It really, really wasn't. People didn't understand why they did, you know, the EP between the albums. Remember they were touring for before. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I just lost my thought on this one. I think there's another album I'll go through right now. In between this one was Grind Bastard. Remember they were on tour on this record over in Europe when they decided to put out Ashen and Epitaph. Damn it, sorry. I'm still just getting to the mic being there. Hey, excuse me for that. Not a bad record. Definitely a heavy one. I think this one really solidified them in that grindcore genre. You know, that hard hitting in your, like in your face. You know, the deep, almost like an angry type vocal, which I love in death metal and in like black and death metal. That hard hitting, growling, ugly, filthy, yelling in your face vocal. You know. Another one, I was listening to this the other day before that album. I was listening to it, and This one I just sat back and I'm like, wow, you know, just just remembering when when this album dropped back in I was still in high school when this came out. Destroy a Nerve Bomb, Electric Eye, yes, great cover, absolutely, absolutely great, great cover on here. Um, I think Priest would approve of them doing that on this record. Great cover of it, very good cover. Um, the title track "Grind Bastard" itself blew me away. It still does. Um, there's a couple others. Shadow World's another one. He's on Bodiless. Is it called? Yeah, Bodiless. Um, is it? This is one band that, like I said, never got the, never got that true recognition that they should. You know, um, I think they were at, I think they, I think they were at still are at the top of their game with it. You know, a lot of bands that tend to fall off. You know, per se, especially doing it for as many years as they have been. I still say Scriptures is one of their best recordings. Um, it's still waving that death metal grindcore flag, which today, with today's music, it's death metal is still there, just riding that course. Grindcore is right there with it. Um, I think death metal and grindcore have come a long way. Um, from being practically unknown, to now. I still say the '90s was like the best year for death metal, grindcore for that matter. Um, that's where a lot of bands took off, um, especially '91, like 90, 91, I'll say '93 for death metal were some of the greatest years, some of the greatest releases for especially '91 and '93. Incidentally, I'm going to be doing, speaking of '91, I'm going to be doing some of my favorite albums from '91. I know there's going to be different people going back and forth with this, because '91 was absolutely incredible for death metal releases, death and just incredible for metal in general, and, all the way. Um, getting back to Benediction. Another one that I like by them was Killing Music. This came out '08. Wow, seems so long ago too for this. There's another album. You know, they didn't slow down. They didn't let up. They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, putting out great, hard, heavy, deep, dark, grindcore type, mixing with that death metal music. That I've been a fan of them. Like I said, for when I first heard them, I had to go back, like one or two records, on them. I want it'd be great to see what they do on their next record. They are working on a new one. I heard. There's no release date for it yet. Which I'm glad. I don't want them to rush an album, just to put it out there. I believe they're back on Nuclear Blast, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're back on Nuclear Blast Records, which is great. Another, label that I think started that, in the '90s, like the early '90s. Started with the death metal and the grindcore, pushing the bands, that, we heard them over here, but they weren't big, you had them on the indie labels, or MTV was playing Once in a Blue Moon on, Headbangers Ball. I don't remember seeing, you know, Cataclysm on Headbangers Ball. I do remember seeing Carcass a lot on there. Napalm was on there quite a few times. Um, it's just that period where metal in general, but more so death metal and grindcore, were starting to lift. Um, and just kick that door down for death metal and black metal, for that matter, and grindcore, and say, hey, we're here. Look at us. Whereas they've been, they were doing over in the UK or in Europe for, a few years prior. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites by them. Like I said, I'm not putting these in any type of order. It's just a band that I feel never got that recognition that they should have. And they're still, like I said, they're still putting out, that hard hitting, deep death metal feel that that almost like that old school death metal grindcore that I absolutely love. It's like when I first heard death metal, real death metal, in my opinion, probably Obituary. Yeah, you know, back then you had Possessed and Venom, which I still say Venom and Possessed, and even early King Diamond, Merciful Fate are some of the most earliest black metal, death metal out there. Um, Especially Possessed. In my opinion, they've been death metal since beginning. Hell, they wrote a song called Death Metal. So yeah, I've been into death metal. I fell in love with death metal. Um, Probably when I first heard Obituary. And Carcass for that matter. Carcass. When I first heard Carcass, I was like, whoa, what's this? That gurgling type of vocal that Carcass had. Before they went more melodic death metal on Heartwork. Like I said, there was so many bands that spawned from that whole entire 88, 89, 90 era. Again, you had Cathedral coming together, like a dark, doomy death metal almost feels with them. I still say Lee Dorian's one of the best vocalists ever. As is Barney. I love Barney, hands down. Then you had Carcass, just slowly coming up with them. I think early Carcass and early Napalm Death, Righteous Pigs, Agoraphoria, Nosebleed, Disharmonic Orchestra. Sorry, I forgot that name for a minute. There were just so many bands that paved that way, for that whole grindcore to just come up. And I still say there's a lot of it, and still, in Benediction, Napalm, you can still hear it with Napalm Death, especially off of Army Corruption. You hear it a lot with that record. Utopia, on that one it still had the elements. A lot of their mid catalog, still had that classic Napalm grindcore feel, as does, Benediction, who are still, like I said, putting out great stuff, quality albums, no slowing down, not changing for anything, just being them, putting out that hard grindcore death metal that they're accustomed to, that us the fan of them, has been into for years. And like I said, I'm anxious to see what they're gonna do on their next record. Um, I would love to go see them live again. I think I saw them one, maybe twice, 3 times, maybe 3 times. Um, so you know, Benediction, you guys listen, New York, right here, New York. um, One of the early ones, this record came out 01, Organized Crime. This one's not a bad one. It's heavy, got the elements of it. Um, this is one of those records that you put the 10. You know, from first opening to that last one, non-stop. There's so many just. I was listening to this maybe a couple of weeks ago. I was just going to my stuff and I'm just sitting there thinking, I haven't listened to things in a long time. And I put this and I'm like, wow. And even for 2001, you could still hear and feel that earliness of them, and then also that time frame, for like those early 2000s. Early 2000s, they were still pumping out some great bands in the early 2000s, death metal wise, grindcore, black metal too, and a lot of bands from the early 90s are still doing it today. A lot of the grindcore bands, death metal bands, the black and death metal bands. I know they've done a ton of reissues from the 90s that they're reissuing now. They just reissued Massacre from Beyond. They also I think they reissued a few of the Master albums. Also, Master's another band. Master just put out a great comeback record. Massacra, they're reissuing them now too, which I think is phenomenal. There's just so many bands. Cataclysm is one of them that still comes to mind for me. I've been a fan of Cataclysm. Their second record, I think it was Sorcery. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Sorcery, or the Temple of Knowledge one, which came out. It was 91, 92 for that one. Right? God, I'm trying to remember dates now. It's still probably bands. Dark Funeral's putting out some new stuff. The new God the Throne album. I got that coming. I got that coming with like a bunch of stuff that I have ordered. I've been hearing that. That's typical God the Throne in my opinion. That's another band. I think God the Throne. They never swayed. Did they get a little bit, lighter per se with a few of their albums? Yeah, but I think they still stuck to it, to who they were. I mean, I would love to have the Grindcore more over and over and over again by them, but you can't. There's a lot of good releases that have come out. A lot of great bands. I think I did a couple of streams ago. I did our early 2024 best of things I was listening to. I got a bunch more that I just got, and I got a bunch more that's coming. I will be doing a best of for 2024. I'll probably end up doing that in December, maybe January. All depends on what I think the things I get, like when they get here to me. A lot of people know with me, I have my iTunes. I'll get it on there and I'll listen to it, and I'll end up getting the album. I need that physical copy, as you guys can see behind me on my walls. If anybody that saw my Instagram, You know, I'm a big collector of it. You know, I never claimed to have the biggest collection, nor will I ever. I've seen people that have twice what I have, which I get in school. You know, I was told it's not. It's never the quantity of stuff; it's the quality of what you have. Um, you know, my favorite always been the black metal, the death metal, the thrash, the darkened thrash, darkened black metal, or the darkened death metal, and then like the atmospheric type black metal. Um, it's no secret. I'm not too keen on a lot of this new black metal coming out. I like the old black metal. You know, the Dark Thrones, the Mayhems, things along that line. You know, Gorgoroth, the old, early Behemoth. Because I still say the early Behemoth, that was pure cult, pagan metal. Black metal, just ferocious. That's another band I will be covering soon. Is Behemoth, another one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. Um, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did doing it. Um, Again, smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment on what you thought of it. Feel free to comment on your albums that you like, you know, about from um, uh, Benediction. I'm having an off day today. My mind just blah. But yeah, I would love to hear it. Comment section should be open. Again, I will be leaving links in my in the description for the people I mentioned, the shout outs, Heavy Metal Journal, Classy, Lonnie Metal, Thrash Metal IQ, Metal Miners Music, the Goat Metal Show, S&T Young. It's just a few people that I've just a number of the few collectors that I've been following on here and on Instagram for a while now. I like meeting the other collectors of it. I like meeting other, you know, people who are into it. You know, you'll see a few of my earlier streams. I'm just streaming. I have some friends that, you know, on YouTube that I've met from here and from other countries, friends of mine. If you guys are ever in the New York area, and you want to check out a couple of live streamers from New York, a friend of mine named Dutchmaz, DUTCHMAZZ. He's a licensed New York tour guide. He does walking streams, and he also does tour streams. He knows all there is to know about New York and the city. I mean, I'm from the city, and I still can't remember a lot of things that he has, that he goes to and brings up and sees. Much like being in the metal, I know a lot about it, but there's so much I forget. And I gotta refresh my memory a lot of times. Also, there's a friend of mine goes by the name of Yo Ange, YOANG. She's also does a walking channel in the city. Shows a lot of different things. Her and her husband Joe go on their coffee fueled fiascos, to say the least. But you know, if you're ever in the city, ever in New York, check them out on here. They're on YouTube. Again, this is the Bulldog. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Stay hard, stay heavy, stay metal, stay brutal. Keep that death metal flag and that brutality flag waving hard. I always said, extreme music for extreme people, and the music that will mingle your mind. That's metal, that's death metal. Keep the death metal scene going. Keep metal going. Wave that flag. Brothers, sisters, I love you guys. Check out the people I told you. Leave your comments and your thoughts in the comment section. This is the Bulldog from Mr. Metalhead Warrior NY saying thank you, and I'm out later.